Have you ever thought the hardest part of your twin flame journey was already behind you, only to find yourself facing a deeper silence that feels heavier than anything you've endured before? Maybe you've surrendered. Maybe you've done the healing. And yet, the final stage feels strangely still, eerily quiet, and profoundly intense. If you're wondering why this phase doesn't feel like the joyful reunion you expected, if you're questioning whether you're truly ready for what comes next, you're not alone. This silence isn't emptiness, it's transformation. In today's video, we're going to guide you through this mysterious final stage, the space where the soul is no longer seeking, but surrendering to a higher frequency. We'll help you understand why the silence at the end of the journey is not a void, but a preparation. You'll learn how this stage is not about waiting, but about being purified, cleansed of everything that still resists love. We'll uncover how this silence is not an absence of love, but the deepest alignment with it. By the end of this video, you'll gain clarity on why the final stage doesn't look or feel like a celebration, because it's not the finish line, but a sacred initiation. You'll begin to see union not as a date on a calendar, but as a frequency your soul is tuning into. And most importantly, you'll be empowered to trust the process, even in silence, knowing that the stillness you're experiencing is the final refinement of love before it anchors into your physical reality. Number 1. Why the final stage feels nothing like an ending. Many people assume that the final stage of the twin flame journey will be the most peaceful, the long-awaited reward after so much pain, surrender, and transformation. They imagine it as a soft landing, a breath of fresh air, a confirmation that the worst is finally behind them. But the truth is far more complex. The final stage doesn't feel like completion. It feels like compression. It doesn't bring lightness at first. It brings an invisible weight, pressing deeply on the soul. Rather than a celebration, it comes wrapped in sacred silence. A silence that doesn't echo abandonment, but instead speaks of deep, energetic refinement. This silence is not empty. It's full of all the emotions, fears, and attachments you thought you had already released. It's not the stillness of disconnection, but the stillness of deep, inner preparation. In this space, illusions begin to shatter. The comforting fantasies you once leaned on, the ones that gave you a sense of control or hope, start to dissolve. What once felt like clarity now reveals itself as distortion. Control turns into static. Desire, no matter how pure, begins to feel like resistance. You are not being cast aside, you are being reforged. This is the spiritual fire that burns not to destroy, but to purify. It removes what cannot remain in the presence of divine union. And it does so silently, without external signs or dramatic confirmations. It strips you of anything that isn't in alignment with unconditional love. The loneliness you feel isn't a void. It's the universe creating sacred space inside you. A space where only truth can live. The pain you feel isn't punishment. It's an invitation to become the version of yourself who is not just waiting for sacred love, but capable of truly holding it. This stage asks you to go deeper than you ever have before. It's not about chasing or waiting anymore, it's about becoming. And in this becoming, the question echoes through every part of your being. Can you embody the version of yourself who is ready for divine love? Not as a dream, but as a living frequency. This is the challenge of the final stage. And though it may feel nothing like the ending you imagined, it is, in truth, the beginning of everything real. Before we move forward, take a moment to sit with what you've just felt. This stage, this sacred silence, is not something to rush through or solve with the mind. It's something to feel with your whole being. Have you experienced this kind of inner pressure? The kind that feels more like a transformation than an ending? Have you noticed the illusions falling away, even when it hurts? Your reflections matter, not just to you, but to others walking this same path. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below, or simply type, "I am becoming the one who can hold sacred love." Your words may be the exact confirmation someone else needs to keep going. Number 2. The pressure that pushes you into becoming. This phase of your journey doesn't announce itself with chaos or conflict. It arrives in a silence so heavy, it echoes. The outer world may fall still, but inside, something profound begins to tremble. You may find yourself feeling weary, deeply exhausted, yet unable to point to a cause. This isn't physical tiredness, it's soul-level pressure. It's as if invisible forces are closing in, squeezing your spirit, asking you to let go of everything that no longer serves who you're becoming. This is what energetic compression feels like. Not punishment, but preparation. A sacred initiation into your next evolution. In this space, action is not the answer. Instead, you're called to listen, deeply, honestly, without distraction. Listen to the noise within, the looping doubts, the rising fears, the ache of impatience. These aren't signs of failure. They are signals that transformation is near. They surface not to stop you, but to reveal the resistance that must be released. Underneath all of it, there is something quieter, a whisper. It is the voice of your soul, soft but steady, guiding you toward a truth that cannot be explained, only lived. This is not a moment of doing, it is a moment of becoming. A silent force nudging you from within, asking you to trust what you feel, even when you can't yet see what's coming. The pressure isn't here to break you, it's here to shape you. Imagine a caterpillar just before it becomes a butterfly. From the outside, the cocoon appears still, almost lifeless. But inside, a storm of transformation is unfolding. The caterpillar isn't resting, it's dissolving. Its entire identity is breaking down, its form becoming unrecognizable, reduced to pure potential. There's no map for this process, no way for the caterpillar to understand what it's becoming. It can't rush or resist. It can only surrender to the pressure that nature applies. This is energetic compression in its most poetic form. The silence of the cocoon isn't emptiness, it's a crucible. And only through that silent, internal breaking does the butterfly emerge. In the same way, when your life feels like it's closing in, when your thoughts grow louder and your energy wears thin, you're not being undone, you're being rewritten. The pressure is not your enemy, it's your metamorphosis. Number 3, the sacred dance of masculine and feminine energies. In the final stage of the twin flame journey, a deeply sacred transformation begins to unfold between the divine masculine and feminine. This is not a time of surface-level changes. It is a soul-level dismantling of everything that no longer serves love's truth. The divine masculine, once driven by control, societal expectations, and external validation, now finds himself standing in the rubble of his former identity. What once gave him a sense of power, titles, success, routines, is slipping away. But this is not destruction. This is a divine unraveling. His soul is gently, and sometimes painfully, peeling back the layers of illusion so that his authentic self may emerge, free from the armor of fear and the false sense of control. Simultaneously, the divine feminine is undergoing a transformation just as profound, though less visible to the outside world. She is no longer being called to chase, to prove her worth, or to demand timelines and answers. Instead, she is being asked to fully embody the frequency of her truth, not through words or actions, but through the depth of her presence. Her role now is not to rescue or wait, but to be, to hold emotional space without expectation, to anchor in love without fear, to lead with energy, not urgency. Together, these twin energies are entering a new sacred rhythm, a refinement of polarity that cannot be forced or controlled. It is not through striving, fixing, or fighting that this balance is reached. It is through surrender, It is in allowing what is false to fall and what is real to rise. The sacred dance of the divine masculine and feminine is not a performance, it is a vibration, tuned by truth, sustained by soul, and guided by divine timing. This is not the end. It is the alchemy that prepares both counterparts to meet, not as wounded reflections, but as whole frequencies aligned in union. If you've made it this far, it means your soul recognizes something sacred in this message. This isn't just information, it's a mirror reflecting your own transformation. Take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, where am I in this sacred dance? Are you witnessing your own shedding, your own awakening, your own surrender? We invite you to reflect on what resonated most with you. Share your story in the comments. It might be the very light someone else needs to find their way. Or if you feel the truth of this message deep within, simply type, "I surrender to love's truth." Let that be your affirmation, your signal to the universe that you are ready to embody the next version of yourself. Number 4, the collapse of illusion and the gateway of truth. This phase of the journey is not gentle. It does not whisper or fade quietly into the background. Instead, it arrives like a sacred storm, tearing through everything that was built on illusion. False beliefs, karmic imprints, outdated soul contracts, and the emotional scaffolding of lifetimes, all of it begins to crumble under the frequency of true union. And when this happens, it doesn't always make sense. Emotions surge without cause. Wounds you thought were healed resurface. Old patterns play out like echoes of a story you've long outgrown. But this is not a sign of regression. It is a rite of passage. It is initiation. In this sacred undoing, both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are called to release the identities they've clung to for survival. The masculine must surrender the story of being not ready, a mask that once protected him from vulnerability, but now only delays his becoming. The feminine must release the identity of the eternal seeker, the one who waits, hopes, and endures in the shadows of someone else's timeline. These roles are no longer needed. They are too small for the magnitude of the soul's truth. True union is not about arriving at perfection. It is about arriving in presence. It asks for honesty, not habit. It asks for alignment, not attachment. It asks each soul to show up whole, without masks, without delay. And that can only happen when all illusions fall, when both counterparts no longer seek safety in what they've known, but instead find strength in what they are becoming. In this space of raw surrender, the soul finally breathes. Free from roles, free from waiting, free from the past. Here, beneath the rubble of illusion, lies the gateway of truth, not built, but revealed. It is from this place that real union can begin, not as a fantasy, but as a living, breathing embodiment of love in its highest form. Number 5. Funyan, the frequency before the form. Union is not something you chase through action, timelines, or external validation. It is something you become through vibration. It's not a destination you arrive at, nor a prize awarded after struggle. True union is an inner frequency, an energetic embodiment that precedes all form. Long before the physical signs appear, before words are spoken or hands are held, your soul begins to hum with a vibration that quietly says, "I am already there." This is what we call funyan, the sacred experience of union before it becomes visible. It's not just a concept, it's a shift in your entire state of being. When you enter this frequency, the world around you begins to reflect it. Dreams deepen, carrying messages from the soul's future. Synchronicities multiply, guiding you with symbols that only your heart can decode. Silence, once unbearable, becomes your sacred sanctuary because you no longer fear the void. You understand now that the void is not emptiness, it is the womb of creation. Funyan is the moment your soul stops asking for proof and starts becoming the proof. You no longer look outward for signs because you are the sign. Your presence becomes a living transmission of union energy, soft but undeniable. And when that happens, the idea of separation fades. There is no longer a need to wonder if union will happen. In this frequency, union is no longer a question. It is a truth unfolding in divine timing. By aligning with this inner pulse, you don't force union. You invite it. You don't grasp. You radiate. You become the space where love meets itself. And that is when the journey shifts from waiting to knowing, from longing to being. This is the true essence of union that starts within, and from there changes everything. You were never truly waiting, you were becoming. This journey is not about arrival, it's about awakening. The cracks in your heart were never signs of brokenness, but openings for divine light to enter. The longing, the silence, the aching questions, all of it was shaping you into someone who can hold sacred love without fear, without conditions. Union is not a destination marked by a calendar or a physical reunion. It is a state of remembrance. It begins when both souls stop hiding, stop resisting, and begin standing fully in their truth. You are not incomplete. You are becoming whole through every moment of surrender, every breath of courage, and every choice to remain open, even when it hurts. This is the alchemy of union, the fire that purifies, the silence that teaches, the love that rebuilds from within. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. You are not chasing a love outside of you. You are awakening to the eternal love that has always lived within you. So, if your soul feels seen in this message, if your heart is quietly nodding with a knowing that words cannot fully explain, trust that this is your moment. Not a moment to grasp, but to receive. Not a moment to prove, but to embody. Let this be your declaration, your sacred offering to the universe. Comment below with, "I'm ready for true union." Your words may be the frequency someone else needs to hear. Your presence may be the light that guides another soul home. And if this message stirred something within you, if it helped you breathe deeper into your own truth, please like this video, share it with someone walking a similar path, and stay with us by watching the video below. Together, we rise. Together, we remember. Together, we become the love we've always been seeking.